Hello, Badge Chatters. Welcome to yet another edition of Badge Chat K-12 with our digital badge show and tell here live on YouTube. I am Noah Geisel at Senior G on the Twitter, and I'm joined by co-moderator Rich Dixon. He is at EdTech Rich. Rich, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having us. Looking forward to the discussion this week, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is going to be this week a bit of a change because I mixed up and somebody told me they weren't able to do this date for us to do a digital badge show and tell with their badge system, and I misread it as they could. So hopefully that won't be too disappointing to people. What we're going to do is take a deep dive into the Aurora K-12 badge system in Aurora Public Schools. It's a project that I've been working on very closely for the last 3 years. And if you have questions, Rich is going to help me watch Twitter. Just tweet at us at hashtag badge, or tweet us using the hashtag BadgeChatK12, and we'll notice those in real time and get your questions live on the air. In the meantime, Rich, please feel free to stop me, interrupt me at any time. I'm going to do a screen share for most of this. And really wanted to take a chance to take a deep dive into a badge system that's near and dear to my heart in Aurora, Colorado, that is currently serving a school district of a little over 40,000 students, and this year has issued over 10,000 badges and is doing some really unique stuff, I think, to both recognize students' assets and open up doors of opportunities for those learners. And so for anybody who wants to play along at home, the website that you can go to if you want to see the Aurora system is badge.aurorak12.org. And you can see that the tagline is recognizing assets and opening doors. And where that really came from is in this school district, it was really important to say, you know what, not every student has familial connections that are going to open doors. Not everybody has a neighbor whose dad has a business that is going to get them their first job. And so we really approached it as, let's use digital badge credentials as a way to recognize the awesome that our students are doing. And then let's actually connect with employers in the surrounding community and build out an ecosystem that helps to open up doors of opportunity for those students. And again, if you're joining us live, you can tweet in your questions, hashtag BadgeChatK12. And if I don't see it, Rich will see it right quick and interrupt us and get us in with any questions you have. In the meantime, I'm going to dive right in and just give everybody an idea of what Aurora is doing. That got it mentioned in Cheryl Grant's awesome report a couple months ago that was on promising practice in digital badges. She called this the most ambitious and innovative K-12 badge initiative in the country. So we're really proud of the work that we are doing. And it says, I got a message here from Brandon saying he's having trouble joining the chat. So hopefully, Brandon, we got that solved for you. I do see there's a few people watching live, but it'll also be available on replay on YouTube. So the Aurora system is based off of the 5 21st century skills that are named in the Colorado academic standards. And that was a really kind of interesting design decision that rather than go with math badges and social studies badges and science badges and Spanish badges, they said, you know what, no matter what you teach, whether you teach one of those subjects or kindergarten or PE, everything you teach in the state standards lists collaboration, critical thinking, information literacy, invention, and self-direction as your state standards. And so given the positive assumption that amazing teachers in Aurora are doing awesome standards-based instruction, they should be providing students with opportunities to hit these skills day in, day out in those classes. And, you know, we really find when we talk to employers that these are skills that employers value, that colleges value, but that aren't showing up right now in students' transcripts. And so this is a way to help us provide a deeper, richer, my colleague Kevin Rebow, he's KM Rebow on the Twitter, he calls it a more high definition picture, you know, just this deeper, richer narrative of who our students are as learners and achievers. And to give you an idea of the full system, for each of those 5 21st century skills that Aurora started with from the state standards, we then dug into the Common Core standards, the ISTE-NET standards, the Next Gen Science standards, the 21st Century Skills Commission. You know, we really dug into anything we could to say, well, at a more granular level, what do any of these skills look like? So for example, under critical thinking, it's analysis, exploration, investigation, and organization. And so to kind of explain why some of these badges are smaller and others are bigger, Aurora went with a two-tiered system of kind of micro badges and macro badges. We call our micro badges journey badges, so students go on a journey. And we call our macro badges summit badges. So they go on the journey, and once they collect the 4 requisite journey badges, they earn their summit badge. And Rich, you'll let me know if we have any questions here. I don't want to go too fast. Go ahead.
We're looking good right now.
Awesome. And so what I sort of hinted this, that I think one of the things that's really novel and special about what Aurora's done so far, and it's not novel or special in a difficult to scale kind of way, just we haven't seen that many examples of it yet, but we really hope that people will. And that's that we thought, you know, when we looked at the Digital Me badge canvas, which was really influential in our thinking early on in how we designed this badge system, is that there's a box on that graphic organizer for value proposition. And so what that's saying is, you know, what is the reason why somebody is going to care, whether they're the one earning this badge, the one issuing this badge, or the organization or person to whom the badge earner displays their badge, why are they going to care? And we really focused on the student side, the badge earner side, and we said, you know, for that value proposition, it's not okay if a student raises their hand and says, "Miss, why should I care about these badges?" And the teacher's only equipped with the answer, "Because you should be intrinsically motivated to learn." We thought it was really important that we give her a better answer for her students. And so we did go with extrinsic motivation. So we said, you know what, if you get all of your journey badges and earn the summit badge, not only do you get the Aurora Public Schools Summit badge, but we actually have gone out into the community and gotten all of these employers to endorse your badges. And so you can earn not just the Aurora Public Schools invention badge, for example, but you can then get the Boulder Engineering Studio endorsed badge for the skill of invention. And that's cool in 2 ways. And one way, you know, they get an additional badge that has Boulder Engineering Studio's logo on it. And so it lets them know, hey, here's this employer that really cares about this skill set that you've demonstrated, and they're going to put their brand behind it and recognize you for that. But I think even more importantly is they take another step to say, and if you earn the badge with our name on it, we're going to open up a door of opportunity for you. So in the case of Boulder Engineering Studios, where they make inventions for a living, they say, you know what, a certain number of students every year who earn our badge have the opportunity to apply to come up and do a half-day job shadow and actually go on our engineering floor and see what it's like to make everything from helicopter navigation systems to bear-proof trash cans, which is a big problem here in Colorado. Bears getting into campground trash cans, and so that they design trash cans that bears can't get into. Pazza is a local escape room franchise, and so they have students go in there. They get to play some of the escape room, but they also get to go behind the scenes and see what went into making an escape room and some of the clues and puzzles. For any of you who are into the breakout EDU phenomenon, that this will be familiar to you. We just had some students last week with Wide Focus, which is a social media shop, and so they got to learn about how Wide Focus does social media audits for their clients. And you know that basically when a teenager gets really into cyber stalking Ryan Gosling because he's cute, that's actually a really employable skill at a place like Wide Focus, where they actually cyber stalk, for all intents and purposes, their client, and then prepare a report for them on what is their social media footprint. And so all of these companies are offering these, you know, value propositions for students who earn their badge. And in the case of McDonald's, you know, they're saying less of a career exploration and more of a actual entry-level job opportunity. So students who in Aurora who earn the McDonald's endorsed badge will have the opportunity to actually have a guaranteed job interview at any area of McDonald's inside of Aurora. And so really just a neat way to walk the talk on not just recognizing our students' assets, but then opening up doors of opportunity for them. If you went to badge.aurorak12.org, you'll see there's a video on the front page. And I think it takes place at Mobile TV Group, where this young man who earned their Summit badge had an opportunity to go and actually go in the trailers where they make live television production happen with the bank of screens on the wall of the trailers. And he got to learn about how much cable gets used and where the producers are and the replay operators, and just this really awesome experience where he now says, whoa, I was really into engineering and really into video production. I didn't really see that the two of them were connected. And now he has, for his own personal plan of where he goes, after high school, that's a real consideration for him, that, that there's these careers that he'd never heard of that are now going to be opened up to him. Something that kind of moving on to the support of how Aurora went about implementing their digital badges. And Rich, if you think I'm glossing over something, or you think there's a great question to ask that people might be wondering, this is not just about showing off Aurora, but really about helping folks who might be exploring implementing a scaled digital badge initiative in their own district. Please do cut in anytime and slow me down with questions.
Okay, I have one that comes up. That is such an impressive list of community partners. I think I counted something close to 36, 38, something like that.
Yeah, we actually just got our 42nd last week. So
wow, that's so impressive. And I think what I'd like to capitalize on is where I've seen digital badges really make the biggest impact is where there's a connection between the badge and then an audience beyond the learning situation for the students. So making it connect to parents or other community organizations and or businesses like you just clearly demonstrated. And I think that is a really important foundational piece that you guys have brought to the table. So I'd like to hear from you just real briefly. What did it take to create those university partners, and how did you help them to understand that there was value in partnering with you to create those badges?
Absolutely, an awesome question. And to be honest, in most cases, when we meet with potential endorsers, it's actually a much easier sell than it is to, our partners in the classroom, when we're pitching this to teachers. Hopefully my audio is still coming through here. My headset just ran out of batteries. That's just 2 out of the last 3 broadcasts. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. It's still coming through just great.
Okay, good. So we will, really, we go in and we show them a graphic of the system. Josh Cush, who is the partnerships specialist with Aurora Public Schools, has a trifold brochure that he will share with them, just kind of the demographics of the district and some high-level overview of just what we're trying to do. But honestly, just sharing, this graphic of these skills is really all they need. They say, wait a second, this exists? Like, you're credentialing students in these skills because these are the skills we're looking for. And, it just is really intuitive to an employer to say, yeah, we don't care a lot of times about GPA. We don't care about an ACT test score. We don't care about where they went to college. A lot of times employers tell us we don't care if they went to college. What we really care about is, are they collaborative? Are they self-directed? Do they know how to use the technology that we use? Are they analytical? And really, other than them writing down on their resume at the bottom that those are their skills, we don't have a way to know that about them other than them telling us. And, we can't verify that. And, as Rich, and hopefully folks are figuring out that one of the real powers of digital badge credentials is not just the credential, but because they're digital, we can attach evidence. And so we actually require there to be either a testimonial from the teacher or, even better yet, a evidence actually attached, so that an employer doesn't have to take our word for it. They can click on a badge and see the artifacts that went into that student meeting the criteria for that specific badge. And so, when we share that with them, they're like, this is great. Is this happening everywhere? And we say, not yet, but hopefully one day. Do you want to be in, on the early stages? And honestly, the biggest barrier is time and just follow through with folks, getting them to sign their MOU. But for the most part, if we can meet with them, they get on board. We definitely have better luck with, smaller locally run businesses than larger kind of conglomerates. We found that people will get really excited and say, yeah, we're going to take this to this committee and that committee, then it goes to legal, then this committee, then back to legal. And so, maybe in 6 to 9 months, we can get that done for you. And honestly, in some cases, they would rather write a check than actually partner. But we have, as you saw, in addition to McDonald's, we recently got Home Depot. Service Master is a national brand. And so we have a mix of local and national brands. But the national brands is definitely a kind of heavier lift to get them on, just because they have so many channels they have to run through before they can say yes. Whereas a local company is able to get to yes much more quickly. And really it's just a matter of, do they have bandwidth to provide, to follow through on their commitment to offer an opportunity of career exploration for these students who earn their credential. The sell is usually, a 15 to 25-minute meeting, I'd say, of really just high level. Hey, these are the credentials. This is what students do to earn them. And we'd love it if you would let students know that these are skills you value by putting your brand on it and by opening up a door of opportunity for students who earn your credential.
It's a great overview, Noah. So inspiring and so well done. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other high-level things, and if folks, again, if you're just joining us, I'm Noah Geisel at Senior G on the Twitter. He's Rich Dixon at EdTechRich. We're on the badge.aurorak12.org website, looking at Aurora Public Schools digital badge system that's been rolled out to really preschool through 12th grade students in a 40,000 student district. And this website was really built as a kind of internal facing, and internal would include our endorsing partners, parents, the surrounding community, to be a toolkit to support any given stakeholder in their initial touch points with our digital badge system. So community is really going to be those potential endorsers, parents family is going to be the parents, teachers and students. And so, on the teacher side, when we go in there, this takes us to the teacher badge toolkit. And one thing, in case people are wondering, well, how do you go about issuing badges? We do use credly.com. And so, a teacher who clicks there is going to find all these video tutorials and modules they can go through. The district has created in the online professional development catalog learning modules that teachers can self-pace through and earn continuing education hours for relicensure and salary advancement. And we support them with a bunch of resources that they can send home to parents, resources for students. And those really run the gamut, and really Aurora took a very user-centered design approach. And so most of those resources really come from a teacher saying, hey, it'd be cool if you just had a booklet of all 21 badges my students could earn, that it's a silhouette of the badge and every student has one. And then as they earn it, I have stickers that I can put over the silhouette. And so they can kind of track passport style, their journey through this badge system as they earn badges. And so we said, that's a great idea. Let's make that. Another teacher said, my students are really used to a reading log on the wall with all their names, on the axis on the far left, and then the badges that they could earn along the top axis. Is that something you can make? And yeah, we worked with print services, got those posters printed up, laminated, out to classrooms. All a teacher has to do is ask for one. This kind of poster graphic we have here, schools have that in their hallways if they want them. Really, any kind of resources that we can do, that there's definitely like a real servant leadership mentality of, tell us what you need, and then we are going to try and meet those needs. I think one thing that's important to mention is that this has been done without a mandate. And so what I mean by that is that the superintendent central administration office is not telling any teachers that they have to do this. Where this synthesizes with existing efforts in the district is they have a strategic 2020 plan that by the year 2020, there are 3 goals. One is that every student will have an academic and career plan. Number 2 is that every student will have the skills that they need in order to execute that plan. And number 3 is that every student will have credentials to show that they have the skills that they needed. And so digital badges are one way that schools can support the strategic plan through as far as meeting that credential piece. And so, in addition to that, things like, IB classes and AP classes, offer credentials in a sense. And so those would also count. So digital badges are not their only option. But without any sort of a mandate, we each year are growing. This year, we've more than tripled the number of teachers who were badging from last year. We, as of the end of April, I haven't even looked at the May numbers, but had surpassed over 10,000 badges issued just this year, over 250 summit badges issued last chance I checked. And so each of those summit badges leads to an opportunity like we talked about with those endorsing partners. And so just this really exciting kind of grassroots implementation, if you will, where, the district is definitely committed to it. The district definitely supports it. And no teacher is being told you have to do this. It's really one teacher gets excited, she starts doing it, she's talking about it in the staff lounge, and then the next day the district's badge partner, Amanda McQueen, will get an email saying, hey, or Amanda Fuller, I'm sorry, that's her married name, Amanda Fuller, gets an email saying, hey, Amanda, can you come over to my elementary, middle, or high school and help me get trained on how to start doing this. And I mentioned Amanda, that's another neat support that the district is offering teachers is, for your school districts that have ed tech coaches, Aurora has basically designated a TOSA position to be a badge partner. So she's like an ed tech coach whose really sole kind of job description is around supporting teachers in their digital badge implementation. And Rich, did I hear you about to cut in there?
We're all doing well, thank you. Still moving
Okay,
forward.
awesome. For folks who are watching live, again, if you just tweet on hashtag BadgeChatK12, can answer any of your questions. So something that I think might make sense for folks who are wondering, okay, so you have the Journey badges, you have the Summit badges, teachers opt into doing this, who decides what is badgeable? And so that's where we have our digital badge definitions. And so this is kind of a more wordy version of this graphic here of showing all the badges. This shows all the badges along with, just a one-sentence definition of what each badge means. And so part of the initial training with a teacher is really sitting down with them and saying, what do you have coming up in your next unit? And, they describe their next unit and we say, awesome, look at this one pager of the digital badge credential definitions. And, are your students going to show that they can locate, organize, analyze, evaluate, synthesize, and ethically use information from a variety of sources and media? If so, they could earn their research badge on this next unit. And so that they really sit down with Amanda and go through, each of these and say, yeah, this analysis, collect and analyze data to identify solutions and or make informed decisions. That is exactly what my students are doing on this next project. And so, in that way, the system does something that you hear anytime you survey teachers, what do you want? And teachers told, I want autonomy. I want to be trusted as the expert of my content and that I know what's going on. And so really the extent to which a classroom teacher is being top-downed in this initiative is this one sentence definition of, in this case, analysis. And so she then gets to decide at her particular age group, what might age-appropriate criteria be in order for students to meet this definition. And so she determines what that criteria is, and she determines what evidence students will provide in order to show that they have met that criteria. And so, and that evidence is going to be what the students attach. And so, this is a Google Apps for Education district. And so in a lot of cases, it's a Google slide deck. It's a video in their Google Drive, a Google Doc. Sometimes even it's pictures along with a testimonial. And so really anything they can attach to an email, they can attach to a badge. And so teachers have a lot of trust on that they're the experts. And, the quality assurance that goes into that is at the badge leadership team just periodically is kind of parachuting in and randomly selecting, each teacher's badges to click and look at them and view the evidence and just make sure that it's rigorous and up to snuff. And, there have only been a few isolated cases where an intervention, if you will, was kind of required. And what that intervention looks like is going and grabbing another teacher's badge evidence that had the same age group, same badge title, and saying, hey, this is what it looked like for this teacher. And really, that's all the conversation usually is, because that teacher then says, oh, my students didn't do anything near that. Like, I kind of watered this down here. I need to, step up what on my expectations for my students. And so they were really easily able to kind of recalibrate, if you will, and self-correct. And, if you think about it, a lot of folks really on that kind of quality assurance place right away go to a really expensive solution of, well, we need every badge to be vetted by somebody in central administration, who's making, what a teacher makes plus, 20, 30, 40%. And, it's just this busy work of, double checking teachers. And, or they go to something that's less subjective and saying, we need more objective measures that we can really automate and just go with kind of multiple choice criteria. And, that makes it really easy to do that quality assurance. And our feeling was, maybe we do need to go there, but let's not just assume that. Let's put it out in the wild and test it with our teacher users and our students and see if that assumption in fact gets validated. And 3 years in, that has not been validated. And so, the district's been able to not allocate resources toward, just double checking teacher work. We've been able to trust teachers and just really in a handful of isolated cases, have a 10-minute conversation that leads to them all of a sudden producing way higher quality badges moving forward. Go ahead, Rich.
Example, I think, of making the criteria really clear, because just looking at the title of a badge, it gives a good description, but there's that whole other side, the description, that when you click on the badge, the metadata, as we call it, the information that shows up after you click, is really the part that can help make that badge meaningful to others and provide that more granular explanation. So thank you for that great example.
Yeah, thank you so much for saying so. It's been something that I'm definitely proud to have worked on. I know that everyone in the district who's a part of this is really proud of it. We think that, this is just continuing to make every day more of a difference in kids' lives. And, we kind of have this whole mentality around this work where, if you see you get to the meeting 5 minutes early and ask somebody, what are you doing? How's it going? And they're like, changing the world, man, changing the world. That there's a real sense of, this work having a chance to change the world and really help notice, name, and credential what our students do that's awesome, that does not currently show up in the narrative of who they are as a learner achiever, and get that to a broader audience than just their mom, their dad, their family and their teachers, to actually put it in front of colleges and employers. We're really excited that some of the Common App providers are now going to allow open badges to be attached to the Common App. So districts who are using open badges are going to be able, in the coming years, to actually help their students stand out to colleges, beyond just what grades they have, what their test scores are, and what clubs they're a part of, to actually, what credentials have you earned and what was the evidence you provide to earn those credentials. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see where this goes. Something that I would be remiss not to mention in our closing minutes here is that all of this work, again, the website for folks who are just joining us is badge.aurorak12.org. And Aurora has put all of this work out under a Creative Commons license. And what that means is that you can take it and use it. Please, cite your source. Let people know, hey, we stole this, or we begged, borrowed, and stole this from Aurora Public Schools. And, that's the whole idea, is that, if you want to start off where we were 3 years ago, by all means, go for it. But if you're thinking, I'd much rather start off closer to where you are today than where you were 3 years ago, I'd love to just kind of go on this website and plunder the documents and reach out to us. We're happy to share any of our documentation that we've created along the way. And there's just, at this point, probably thousands of pages worth of Google Docs of all of the implementation work. And we're happy to share that with folks, because we really think that this is, moving forward, going to be one of the many right answers of what we do that's right for kids. And so please do reach out. We're happy to support you with it. And the last thing that I would mention is that this work, along with the work of April Moore, if you caught our Badge Chat show and tell a few weeks ago, she shared the work in Corona Norco with us. You can definitely find that on YouTube if you just search for #BadgeChatK12. She's going to be there. We're going to have folks from higher ed, you know, a lot of folks working in the teacher PD realm sharing their work. Professional associations like the National Hardwood Flooring Association are all going to be at the Badge Summit June 24th in San Antonio, Texas at the ESC 20 Training Center, which is conveniently located just outside of downtown San Antonio. This is the day before ISTE. You can go to badgesummit.weebly.com to get registered. We've got videos there from last year's keynotes, Doug Belshaw, Nicole Pinkard from DePaul University. We have just an amazing lineup of speakers. Jonathan Finkelstein, the CEO of Credly, Mark Lauba, who's with IMS Global, which has taken over a lot of the really important work of the Badge Alliance, is going to be on our panel. A lot of folks in this community follow Sarah Teacher, Sarah Thomas, on Twitter. She's going to be moderating our keynote panel. The woman who used to be here, Brenda Perea, who just is one of the most knowledgeable people on planet Earth about digital badges, is on that panel. We also have Connie Yao, who is the CEO of Collective Shift, if you're familiar with the cities of LRNG learning. She's going to be giving a talk about access and equity in the micro-credentialing world. She's just an amazing woman. She's the former education director at the MacArthur Foundation. And Rich is going to be there. I'll be there. We'd love to have you join us. You know, you can just click on the tickets to get registered. And I'll tell you, if you use the promo code CELEBRATE-TEACHERS in honor of last week's Teacher Appreciation Week, you can save yourself a bunch of money on what's already a pretty affordable conference at $139, including breakfast and lunch. And we'd really love to see you all there. I didn't see any last-minute questions coming in, and I have gone over by about 3 minutes. That was a really fast show and tell. But if anybody has questions, I'm really easy to get a hold of. I'm at Senor G on the Twitter. You can email me, puravitanoah@gmail.com. He's at EdTechRich. And we will both be at the Badge Summit as well as ISTE. And Rich, do you know when our presentation is at ISTE? Should we let folks know about that as well?
Yeah, it's Monday. I believe it's early afternoon, 1 p.m. I need to double check that time and date, but we'll be enjoying a panel discussion with Kate Tolnai, Sherry Terrell, Noah, and myself. We're really looking forward to diving into examples like Noah just explained, helping those that are just getting started and providing inspiration for those that are already on the journey.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome. And I should have mentioned Kate Tolnai, one amazing leader, and Tosa in California, also an awesome sketchnoter. If you've seen some of the sketch notes she's done to promote this conference on June 24th. But everybody, thank you so much for taking time out of your Monday to join us. And if you watch this not live, thank you for finding it and digging it up and join us. And to the live viewers, we really appreciate and value you. And we'll be back on the Twitter next week. Thank you so much and have a badge-worthy week, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.